Welcome to the channel. Welcome to today's run-through of all the latest Manchester United news and transfer updates, keeping you right up to date with everything. Deadline day is upon us, and it's already started in a positive way, I think, for me, because we've got none other than the Oracle himself, Mr. David Ornstein, come out confirming that Real Betis have signed Antony, or going to sign Antony, on a permanent transfer. So Real Betis reach agreement with Man United to sign Antony on permanent. Real Betis initially wanted straight loan, but deadline day deal for 25-year-old winger, €25 million package plus 50% sell-on clause. No termination payment to Brazil International by Manchester United. So this is the same deal that Betis walked away from the other day, because we'd already agreed the 25 million plus 50% sell-on package, but they were saying that they didn't want to pay his severance pay and couldn't afford his wages, couldn't afford the deal, and the deal was off, and all of that drama that they had the other day as a last-minute dash, I think, to try to take the mickey out of us once again, to force us to try to pay more money for Antony, or maybe lower the asking price as well. United have held firm and got the deal that was on the table a couple of days ago from Real Betis, who have been taking the absolute piss out of us all transfer window, same as Antony. But I'm absolutely glad that United did not bow down to the demands. We are not paying him any money to leave. We've lost a little bit of money, I think, from a PSR perspective, but if we get a 50% sell-on clause, we'll obviously claw more of that money back as well, depending on the value and the price as well, because Antony could very well go to Betis, do really well, and end up going and moving on to Atletico Madrid were interested in him. Other clubs have been interested in him as well. So if he has the sort of season that he did last season, there's nothing to suggest that maybe he could get sold for a little bit more than, the 25 million euros, in which case we would get 50% of that profit as well. And I am absolutely over the moon that United did not bow down and are not paying him a single penny to leave. He wants to go. He's under contract for Manchester United. We should not be paying off these players, in my opinion. And it's just the end of a very, very bad, up there with one of the worst transfers we've ever in Manchester United's history, I think, for the price we paid, the salary, the return on investment that we got as well, which is nothing short of shit for us. Let's be real. Antony had, can anyone remember a good game that he had for us as well? I can't. He's not going to live long in the memory of Manchester United legends, that's for sure. But yeah, just overall happy. Good start to the transfer deadline, in my opinion, to get the one of the bomb squads gone. Obviously, that's Garnacho, Rashford on loan to Barcelona. Now Antony gone. We've got updates coming up on Jadon Sancho and potentially a move to Aston Villa. And then it's just Malacia left, although Malacia is not really, I don't think, too much of a drama anyway. I don't think he's necessarily, an issue behind the scenes. Not on great wages, and he's in the last year of his contract anyway, so maybe that'll be a loan. The Turkish league, if we don't hear anything today, Turkish transfer window's still open. The Saudi transfer window's still going to be open as well, so maybe we could do something with there if Malacia if we don't get any movement on him today as well. But really important, I thought, no further payment to Antony. So Manchester United will now make no further payment to Antony. So I think that's right. It annoyed me, this whole transfer saga with Antony. It's done now, though. He's going to Betis, and we can wash our hands with that. And again, it's just one of those. It just highlights, that whole transfer of what Ineos and what we are trying to clean up. These sort of mistakes, these sort of transfers from the past, and it's going to take time. As frustrating as it is, because I think I've probably been more annoyed than most of you regarding this transfer dealing, but it's done, it's dusted, he's gone, and we can just move on with the rest of our lives. And I wish him, hope he goes there, smashes it, and we do get more money for him in the future and try and claw back some of the astronomical fee that we paid for him in the first place. But give us your shouts and give us your thoughts on that in the comments below. Now let's go for the incoming. So it's looking very likely on deadline day that it's just going to be a goalkeeper. We'll go through some midfield news in a second, but if you watched yesterday's video, the reports are it's either going to be Sene Lamens or Emiliano Martínez. So Fabrizio Romano has said that Kobbie Mainoo out of Aston Villa squad for tonight. Why? Because Kobbie Mainoo wants to go to Manchester United. Martinez wants to go to United. Martinez has an agreement with Manchester United on the contract. His agent, Jorge Mendes, is driving the process. So Martinez was not in Aston Villa's squad for last night's game, if you didn't see that already. Now the agreement is needed between Aston Villa and Manchester United after the game of Aston Villa. So between tonight and tomorrow morning, Villa and United will discuss the terms of the Emi Martinez deal. Manchester United have spoken again with Royal Antwerp for this situation of Seny Lemens. So we are basically negotiating with both, and it's going to come down to, I think, obviously the fee, the like the transfer fee, because it looks like Royal Antwerp are holding firm on a certain price or wanting a bidding war. We know Galatasaray are interested. Aston Villa actually now have entered the race, I think, for Seny Lemens. So it's going to be one of the two, and we'll all have different thoughts and feelings on that, and I'm sure you'll get involved in the comments. So, but we're going to know either way today who it's going to be. I think there's a pro and a con for both. I don't think either are necessarily risk free, but would both be better than what we've got? Probably. Are both going to be massively upgraded on what we've got? Who knows? We don't know until they put on a United shirt, because that United goalkeeper shirt does weigh heavy on players. So yeah, either way, I'm happy. I'm happy if we get Lemens. I'm happy if we get Martinez. So, but give us your thoughts and feelings and your preferences, I suppose, in the comments below. Romano has also said that Emi Martinez has informed Aston Villa of his desire to join Manchester United. He reiterated this after the game with personal terms agreed with United. So we know we've got personal terms, I think, agreed with Seny Lemens and with Martinez. It's just a case of what deal can we do, the package, the price, all of that stuff. So again, we'll need to wait and see. We'll know by later on today. And Simon Jones from the Mail, interestingly, though, said that Emi Martinez has been left out of the Aston Villa squad to face Crystal Palace amid interest from Manchester United. There is a possibility of United winger Jadon Sancho being included as part of the deal. Now, there is still a few more murmurings of potentially Sancho going to Villa. So whether that becomes maybe more viable for us if we can reduce the asking price for Emi Martinez, we'll have to wait and see. In terms of Sancho, Romano said that in the conversation between United and Aston Villa for Martinez, they also discussed about Jadon Sancho. Aston Villa asked about the situation of Sancho in February. They closed the deal on deadline day for Marcus Rashford. Aston Villa and Man United, very good relationship between the two clubs, and now discussing about Sancho. So Sancho could be the new Rashford for Aston Villa. Let's see what happens there. So Romano confirming that we are in talks as well with Aston Villa regarding Jadon Sancho. Later on in a video that he's recently posted, negotiations between Aston Villa and Manchester United continue on deadline day for Jadon Sancho. Separate deal from Emi Martinez, but both are discussed, aiming to finalise both agreements. Sancho must decide his future today or consider a move to a non-European club, because obviously the European transfer window closes at 7 p.m. UK time today, and if not, he's gonna, he still wants his exit, or he might just want to sit around and not play football and take his money, for a year, walk away for free and get a signing on bonus next year. That can't be ruled out as well. But yes, so it does look plausible that maybe Aston Villa might come in for Jadon Sancho. Don't know the details. Nobody's really mentioning whether it's going to be a loan, permanent transfer, hopefully permanent. If we can do some sort of deal with Emi Martinez, both like reducing the prices. Obviously, they're both on quite high wages as well, I believe. Well, obviously we know Sancho is, but I think Emi Martinez is on quite a good wage at Aston Villa as well. So yeah, that's one to keep an eye on today. The last sort of, I know we mentioned Malacia before, but the last member I would consider as the bomb squad, somebody that we need to just get rid of. In my opinion, the worst signing in United's history for the price and the return on investment, the attitude, all the problems. Like, he's caused more problems behind the scenes and everything like that than Antony has, although, you could make an argument for both. But two of the worst transfers, I think, in our histories when you look at value for money and return on investment and stuff. Like, same as Antony, I can't remember a single good performance from Jadon Sancho when he played for us. There's not a game or a moment. Maybe the goal against Liverpool is the only one that stands out, but that wasn't, that was just one moment out of his entire time at United. So I just can't wait to see the back of these sort of players. And again, it just shows what a messy situation we've been in, and these are the sort of mistakes that we've tried to fix, and, hopefully we can get some movement on him today. But give us your thoughts and feelings on that in the comments below. Just going back to the goalkeeper situation, though, Graham Bailey said that André Onana could leave on loan in the last hours of the window, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the goalkeeper situation if we do bring one in. Will that then give the kick up the backside of somebody else? But again, the Turkish league, Galatasaray might be interested. There was a report the other day that they might be interested in Bayindir or Onana if they don't get Ederson, but it looks like they might be getting Ederson, and Donnarumma might be going to Man City. So there is going to be a bit of a sort of merry-go-round with the goalkeeper situation. But, there's been tentative interest from Onana in the Saudi Pro League before as well, so that couldn't be ruled out because their transfer window obviously doesn't close today. It closes a bit later on, but we'll have to pay attention, see what happens. We'll know by tonight, and then maybe over the next couple of weeks with the, maybe Saudis do come in for one of our keepers if we go for Martinez. So we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. But give us your thoughts in the comments below. Be interesting to hear what you've got to say regarding the situation. Now, other than that, it doesn't feel like there's going to be anything else at the moment, barring a complete shock, because the other position, obviously, we get the goalkeeper in. The other position I think we need to strengthen or look to strengthen anyway is the midfield. There's been a few, murmurings regarding Stiller, but Angelo Stiller has been mentioned as an option for Manchester United's midfield in the last hours. I saw reports. Many of you sent me on Manchester United delegation for the situation of Angelo Stiller. What I'm hearing, what I'm understanding is that Angelo Stiller is not in negotiation with Manchester United. Man United are not working on a deal for Angelo Stiller. That's the story. That's because Sasha Tavalieri come out saying that Manchester United delegation currently in Stuttgart in order to complete the signing of Angelo Stiller. Talks are advanced with him, who's expecting a deal to be done. And then literally about half an hour later, Romano threw that story straight in the bin as well from a pretty shit stirrer, I would say, regarding that, because it got a few people excited online for a few minutes, and then Romano was like, don't know what you're on about, mate, in the similar way to what David Ornstein did with the Jadon Sancho situation. If you remember back to when it was all the stories around Juventus going for Sancho, and Ornstein came out and said, I don't know what anybody's talking about. And ever since then, there's been no talk about Sancho to Juventus, coincidentally. But that's the only murmuring we've really heard about a midfielder coming in. There's nothing else. David Ornstein the other day did say maybe somebody on loan, but again, there's no names linked. There's nothing. It's just radio silence on a midfielder, which leads me to suggest at this moment in time, at the time of recording this video, which is 11 minutes past 8 a.m. UK time, doesn't feel like we maybe are going for a midfielder, which will be unfortunate. But obviously, you never say never in the transfer window. Maybe they are working on something behind the scenes. Maybe we'll get, go for, maybe a last-minute loan, something of that nature. But at the time I'm recording, it doesn't feel that way. But I hope not. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we do get some news later on today that we are making a move for somebody in midfield, because I do think it is an area of concern still. Keeping with the midfielder, then what's going on with Kobbie Mainoo? Because we know he's wanting to go today as well. He wants to go on loan to get some minutes. So Fabrizio Romano has said that Manchester United insist again tonight with Mainoo that he will not go anywhere. United don't want Mainoo to go on permanent or loan deal. Kobbie played in the second half. Then injuries for Cunha and Mount have, and so the message coming from Manchester United is don't want him to go. Kobbie Mainoo on deadline day will push to find a solution on loan. Kobbie really wants to go, but Man United are still closing the doors. So United is holding firm, it looks like, on the Mainoo situation. And Romano makes a good point, actually, because we've not had any update yet regarding Mateus Cunha and Mason Mount's injuries. Maybe we'll get something today. Normally, if we play on a weekend, scans, medicals, everything like that on a Monday. So maybe we'll hear something later on today regarding their injuries. I hope to God it's just nothing serious. A couple of weeks, and they'll be back for the Manchester derby after the international break as well. But give us your thoughts and feelings on that in the comments. Now, I'm just going to check, because I think it's going to be a pretty frantic day today. Let's see if there's anything coming out. Martinez, Romano. Simon Stone's just come out on Mainoo saying that multiple reports say Kobbie Mainoo loan is unlikely today. And Simon Stone's good when it comes to United news as well. Like I said, I can't see us doing it. Like, if we're not going to bring a midfielder in, it makes no sense to then loan out Kobbie Mainoo, because that leaves us with Ugarte, who's... Someone tell me what you think's happened to Ugarte, by the way. Just literally, I don't know, like, not even like a shadow of the player that he was. He looks absolutely like awful so far this season. I don't know what's happened with Manuel Ugarte. And then Casemiro and Bruno is your only three midfielders. Don't forget Toby Collier's gone out already, so that would just be insanity to me to weaken a position in the pitch and in the team that's already weak anyway. So, but yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. But give us your thoughts and feelings on that in the comments below. That's you all up to date with the latest news and transfer updates. Don't forget, smash a like on the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. See you in the next one.